Che sorry, ma vaffanculo, you bet all
I'm sorry, you're not gonna see your mom again for a long time. Cause we're going to America. Full house, boys! No! Dio mio, grazie!
Förbannade usling.
Come on! Figlio di puttana! I'm going home!
Förbannade idiot. Vad ska vi göra? För att döda dig.
I'm going home! I go to America!
No, mate. Titanic go to America in 5 minutes.
Welcome back. Lucky number 13. Can you believe it? Only one more week to the regular season. And this week we saw not only an awesome Thanksgiving day of football. I don't know if everyone got to enjoy some, but there was a lot of good games. We had, in our league, one more team clinch a playoff spot. So here you have it on the Laces Out weekly recap show. 5 teams now locked in for the playoffs in week 13 with a 3-way tie for the last 3 playoff spots. And one team sitting right outside of that playoff bubble waiting to steal the 8th spot. And the best part is 2 of those teams play each other this week, which decides it all. So it should be a good one. All right. Let's get into week 13, some numbers as a league. Our average team score went down almost 5% to the average team score of 106.04 points. Only 6 teams beat their projected total, so less than half the league outscored what their projected scores were going to be. That's down 2 from last week. We had 3 less teams score over 100 points. So that's just a benchmark I use it's kind of a barometer to see if you're being competitive or not. But we had 7 teams score over 100 points in week 13, and we had one more underdog pull out a win with 4 teams in total upsetting their opponents. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into what everyone comes here for, I think. The Week 13 matchup recaps. Up first, we had Al's Dumpster Divers taking on the Pack. Al's Dumpster Divers coming in at 2nd place. The Pack coming in at 4th place. So 2 top 5 teams. Final score, Al's Dumpster Divers 110.84 to the Pack 99.12 points. All-time record, Al's Dumpster Divers leads the series now 2-1. Behind top performers Patrick Mahomes, Brock Bowers, and the Buffalo defense. Really pulling through there for Al, keeping them securely in that 2nd place spot at 10-3. The Pack moves to 8-5, stays in 4th place. Al still hangs with a place in the position, to lock in that 1st place seed. The Pack now sits more in the middle of the playoff hunt, but still with a place clinched last week. Will try to turn things around and improve their chances to having a higher seed going into the playoffs. And up next, we have Dog Pound versus Sleuthy Sloths. Dog Pound coming in at 8th place, taking on a 13th place Sleuthy Sloths team. Final score, Dog Pound 129.59 points to 127.60 points for Brendan. This might have been the matchup of the week, given how close it was and the way things went down. It was down to the wire. It almost came down to defensive play at one point to another one. All-time record now, Dog Pound leads the series 3-1. Top performers for Angelo's team, A.J. Brown, Jared Goff, and the Jacksonville defense. Justin Jefferson flops for Brendan's team, Greg Dortch, and Saquon Barkley. Just a really frustrating Philadelphia Eagles offense. Nobody can quite figure out right now. They can't figure it out themselves, it seems. But nonetheless, could still play spoiler going into Week 14. For Dog Pound, huge win given they sit right at the top of the playoff bubble and almost guarantee a win and in scenario for Week 14, but still needed that to stay in that position. Otherwise, would be really fighting for things this week. All right, Dominic the Donkey taking on Matt's Gritty Goombas. 6th place versus 11th place. Dominic the Donkey final score 95.16 to 75.57 for Matt's Gritty Goomba. Low scoring matchup. Part of that is a very crucial injury to Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Donkey going into the playoffs. You don't want to lose a player like that. Hopefully it's only a week of rest. But you really need a player like that given the 3-way tie for those last 3 playoff spots. Although pulls out the win, which was necessary. Dominic the Donkey leads the series 2-1. Top performers for the Donkey: Trevor Lawrence, DeAndre Swift, and George Pickens. George Pickens just continues to produce points. Flops for Matt's Gritty Goombas: Tony Pollard, the Denver defense, and Parker Washington. Again, this was a big win for Dominic the Donkey to stay pretty much at, I think it has the highest odds of the 3-way tie right now for those teams vying for those last 3 playoff spots to secure a spot with a win and somewhat with a loss. I'll go through the playoff scenarios in just a few. All right, Molly Dangerfield taking on Radical Rob. First place team versus formerly first place team taking on Molly Dangerfield in the 5th place team. So Rob was in 3rd, Molly Dangerfield's in 5th. Final score: Molly Dangerfield with the upset, 99.8 points to Radical Rob's 81.29 points. All time now, Molly leads the. There's a couple of these this week where the opponent hasn't beat their opponent. Molly Dangerfield leads the series 3-0. So shout out to Molly, because this also secures a playoff spot for Molly. And CeeDee Lamb, Chase Brown, and Jalen Hurts lead the way for Molly's team, while Zay Flowers, Emeka Egbuka, and the Pittsburgh defense were flops for Radical Rob's team. So congratulations to Molly, locking up that 5th playoff spot. She's headed to the big dance to see, maybe we'll have to play each other first round. We'll see. While Rob continues his season, looking to get back maybe some injured players. Joe Burrow's back. He played pretty good. And Mike Evans might be back for Tampa Bay sooner than expected, which will help out Egbuka maybe get less coverage. So both teams might be facing each other in the playoffs. We'll see. All right. Nakua Matata taking on Paige's Primo team. Final score: Nakua Matata 125.04 to very respectable 118.65 points for Paige's Primo team. We had the 10th place team in Nakua Matata taking on the 12th place team in Paige's Primo team. This was big for Nakua Matata to stay in the playoff hunt. I think this might be my favorite story of the season because, again, it's a perfect example of how to play the waiver wire. Just stay competitive each week to get just enough to where you're in this position. You can pull out a win, given you scored a ton of points so far this season. If there happens to be a tie for that last playoff spot, Nakua Matata now leads the series all time 4-0. Top performers for Nakua Matata: Jacoby Brissett, waiver wire hero, Nico Collins, and R.J. Harvey, the rookie. Flops for Paige's Primo team: Geno Smith, DJ Moore, and Kenneth Walker. So Patrick saves his playoff hopes this week. Big spot, putting up 125 points in a week where there were not many teams who did that. Stays alive with a really true chance, depending on how things shake out, for a playoff spot. All right, Steve's Retirees taking on Trevor's Locks. The 14th place team taking on the first place team. Trevor's Locks on a heater right now. 8-game win streak after this. We'll get into that. Final score, Trevor's Locks, 87.84 points to Steve's Retirees, 82.99 points. All-time record, Trevor's Locks leads the series 3-0. Steve can't quite shake the monkey on this one. There's been a couple of these this week, but this one could have been anyone's game. It really was. I think both teams underperformed with their star players not coming through. I think JSN had his first down game of the season, really, which takes 13 weeks. That's a pretty impressive season. And Lamar Jackson just, I don't know, that Ravens offense continues to look broken. Top performers for Trevor's Locks. Justin Herbert broke his hand, still pulled out a decent point total. James Cook and Brian Thomas Jr. in a week where points were hard to come by. Those were the leaders for Trevor's Locks. And flops for Steve's Retirees, Lamar Jackson, Kenneth Gainwell, and Pat Freiermuth. Trevor's Locks moves to 10-3, still sitting in first place with that monster point total on the week or on the year. And Steve's Retirees sitting at 3-10 in 14th place. Trevor's Locks looking to pull out a win, score a little more points in this than last week. In a record-wise tie for first place, Al's Dumpster Divers also sits at 10-3 in second place right now based on point total. And last but not least, we have Tua in the Pink taking on This Ain't Last Year #1. Tua in the Pink coming in ninth place, still very much alive for that last playoff spot coming into the week. Lewis sitting at 7th place. Final score, Lewis pulls out the victory with a strong 131.33 points in week 13, which is good to see. Tua in the Pink puts up 96.86 points. All-time record, Tua in the Pink leads the series 2-1, so this is the first win for Lewis over Johnny in a week where you wanted to notch a win. You wanted to move to 7-6 if you're Lewis, because you're sitting in 7th place now. Johnny slips down to 10th place. Top performers for Lewis's teams, the Seattle defense, 33 freaking points. That's crazy. Bijan Robinson looking like a star. And Drake May. I know Lewis grabbed Drake May off waiver wire early in the season. He's been, an MVP candidate, quite frankly. And flops for Tua in the Pink, Jalen Waddle, Michael Wilson, and Jake Elliott. Week 14, watch out. There's buys coming too for some teams. I know that wasn't as much of a concern this week, given the games were spread out. But Lewis does very much hold his destiny in his hands at this point for the playoffs. Big matchup coming up here in Week 14. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right. We have the Week 13 awards. Beauty of the Week goes to This Ain't Last Year #1, Lewis, taking top scorer, 131.33 points. That is the first Beauty of the Week award for Lewis. He also takes the Cuff and Link award, projected point loss, 7.72 points, ends up winning by 34.47 points. That is also his first Cuff and Link award for the year in 2025. Week 13, that's a nice time to get those. You want to start getting hot at this time, so shout out Lewis. Beast of the Week goes out to Matt, his league-leading 4th Beast of the Week in 2025. I'm sorry, Matt, 75.57 points. Dominic the Donkey with a league-leading 5th Large in the Margin award in 2025. When he does it big, blowing out his opponent. And Dog Pound Anxiety Award, winning by 1.99 point. That's the second Anxiety Award of the year for Dog Pound. All right. Week 13 standings. First place, Trevor's Locks, 10-3. Second place, Al's Dumpster Divers, 10-3. Radical Rob, 9-4. Fourth place, The Pack, 8-5. Fifth place, Molly Dangerfield, 8-5. All 5 teams have clinched playoff spots. Congratulations to Molly Dangerfield on the latest team to clinch a playoff spot. The only standing change this week was Nakua Matata and Tua in the Pink swapping 9th and 10th place, which in And if there's any week you want to do that, I guess it's week 13. Really trying to snipe one of those last teams there on the bottom, given all three teams sit at 7-6 for a final playoff spot. But there is a bigger theme here. Trevor's Locks 8-game win streak has now tied the all-time league record for win streaks, with Tua in the Pink having done that last year. So this week holds a lot because those two teams play each other. So father versus son matchup for the all-time win streak. Will it stay tied at 8, or will Trevor's Locks beat up on his old dad there and get the 9-game win streak record? Tune in to find out.
We're going streaky! Yes!
All right. Playoff picture. Last week of the regular season, this is what we all came here for. This is what we pay for. This is the fireworks. Hopefully the playoffs are fun and exciting, but I know we have all more invested while we're all playing here through the first 14 weeks. So looking at the playoff picture, again, 5 teams have clinched, but we have a 3-way tie at 7-6 for the 6th, 7th, and 8th place. So right now, Dominic the Donkey, sitting at 7-6, has 1,514 points scored on the season. Here's the scenario for Dominic the Donkey: winning in no matter what. So you would finish at 8-6 and can't drop below 8th place, I believe, with that point total. You can also clinch with a loss if Dog Pound loses and Nakua Matata loses. Elimination path, which is more unlikely given the point total, is if Dominic the Donkey loses and Nakua wins, Dog Pound wins, and Dominic has to get outscored by both Nakua and Lewis's teams to break the tiebreaker. There's about a 90% chance right now for Dominic the Donkey to make the playoffs. All right, next up we have This Ain't Last Year number 1, sitting at 7-6, points scored 1,511. Clinches with a win. So winning in scenario for Lewis, given the points scored over 1,500 points. Can also clinch with a loss if Dog Pound loses and Nakua Matata loses. The crazy part is Dog Pound and Lewis play each other this week. So that's why it's a winning in for This Ain't Last Year number 1. Elimination path. If you lose, basically it's a losing out scenario, because if Nakua wins, they'll be in based on point total, and Dog Pound wins, it'll be based on record. Lewis would also need to get outscored by Nakua, loses by the points for the final spot. So there's a lot in the line this week for Lewis as well, and same goes for Dog Pound, sitting at 7-6. Points scored, though, 1,267. So that's almost roughly, 260 points less than the top 2 teams above. So a win is super, super important here. A win and in scenario for Dog Pound as well, because it'll be based on record. A loss path for Angelo's team. If you lose, you're pretty much out, because if Nakua Matata wins, they get the points for tiebreaker. Basically, if you tie for that bottom spot for Dog Pound, there's really no scenarios where you're going to beat your opponent based on points scored. So a win is really important here for Dog Pound. Must-win scenario. It's going to be crazy. And then right at the bottom, just waiting to pounce, is Nakua Matata, making it happen all season. 6-7, just like last year. I think the last team to get in might have been, I don't know, maybe even I can't remember. It was maybe about the same, but points scored. There was a lot of points scored for Nakua Matata. Also had a lot of points scored against, 1,397. A clinching path for Nakua Matata is a win and a dog pound loss. So that would get Nakua Matata to 7-7, and dog pound would be 7-7, and Nakua Matata would take that based on points scored. Can also get in with a win and a Dominic or Lewis loss, and would need to outscore them by a moderate points for amount. So that would have to be a really big week for Nakua Matata if they do happen to lose. Pretty much eliminated with a loss at this point. So unless something happens with dog pound and they lose, we'll have to see what happens there. But a lot on the line. There's going to be chaos this week. I can feel it. I'm so excited. To those teams that didn't make it, I'm sorry. I know what it feels like. It sucks. Some of the teams might get into a actually, I don't know if our team, our league does a consolation bracket every year. I can't remember. But if we do, have fun with that. But either way, good luck to the teams that have made it, and even more wishes of good luck to those teams trying to still get in. All right, with that, let's get into the Week 14 matchup previews. Up first, we have Trevor's Locks taking on Tua in the Pink with that win streak record on the line. Trevor's Locks sitting in first place at 10-3, Tua in the Pink 5-8 in 10th place. Unfortunately, eliminated from the playoff hunt at this point, but a big surge midseason put them in contention, leading all the way up to last week. Trevor's Locks looking to hang on to that number 1 seed. It'll be based on record at this point because I think far and away Jax has scored the most points out of anyone in the league. And yeah, you want to keep everyone healthy at this point in the season. So a lot of drama going to come out of this one. A household battle, father versus son. I'm looking forward to it. All right, Sleuthy Sloth's taking on the Pack, 3-10, 13th place for Brendan's team, taking on my team, 8-5, sitting in 4th place. All-time record, the Pack leads the series 2-1. The Pack has clinched the playoffs already, looking to basically play for seeding at this point, depending on who in the playoffs. It's really a wild card. You don't want to play really anybody at this point. I was the number 1 seed last year and got knocked out first round of the playoffs. Thank you, Paige. And so it really doesn't matter. But Brendan Scrappy, playing for pride, put up almost 130 points last week. So not a cakewalk by any means, and looking to take advantage of that last bit of fantasy football in the regular season for Brendan. It's been a hell of a season. This will be a fun one. Next, we have Molly Dangerfield sitting at 8-5 in 5th place, taking on Steve's Retirees, 3-10 in 14th place. Daughter versus father battle here. All-time record. Molly leads the series 3-0. So Steve looking to beat Molly for the first time. Molly enters also playing for playoff seeding, having clinched a spot this week. Steve looking to play, maybe spoiler, but again, trying to squeeze every last bit of that fantasy football season out. Take it easy on him, Molly. You don't want to beat him up too bad. All right. Matt's Gritty Goombas, 4-9, 11th place, taking on Nakua Matata, 6-7 in 9th place. All-time record. Matt leads the series 3-0. Oh, there's some drama here, given where Nakua Matata is in a must-win scenario to try to keep their season alive. Odds are against them. 3 teams sitting at 7-6 hold all of their destinies in their own hands. However, one team's going to slip, and Nakua Matata has every opportunity to put up a monster week here and surge, push right into the playoffs. And again, in fantasy football, it doesn't matter. If you get hot at the right time, you're the hot team, and somebody else has all these star players, but they don't perform. That's it. Good night. Your season's over. So I'm excited. I can't wait. A lot of drama in store. Good luck to both teams. All right. We have Dominic the Donkey taking on Radical Rob. A lot of drama in store here too, because it makes the path not as nuanced and is is clear for Dominic the Donkey as it is for Radical Rob for the playoffs. Radical Rob sitting in third place at 9-4. Dominic the Donkey 7-6 in sixth place. All-time record. Radical Rob leads the series 2-1. This is going to be a dogfight because Dominic the Donkey is down a player, the star wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown, but needs a win to get in. You just got to win to get in. But Radical Rob's it was the number one team for most of the season, can get really hot, has a lot of high-scoring players. A lot to look for in this one, and should be a really fun matchup going all the way through the weekend. Dog Pound taking on This Ain't Last Year number one. Matchup of the week by far. Dog Pound sitting at 7-6, 8th place, taking on This Ain't Last Year number one. 7-6 in 7th place with 3 playoff spots available for the top 8 teams. It's lose or go home, right? I went through all the playoff implications for Angelo. It's given some of the wins this year for Ange came with lower points scored. The points for his team is lower. So a loss here in a win by Nakua Matata, the tiebreaker automatically goes to Nakua. But the win here puts Lewis in a position where if he loses, he's also going to be at 7-7 in a fight for a tiebreaker based on points for if Nakua Matata happens to win. If Nakua Matata loses, a lot goes out the window here. These teams feel a little bit safer, but still a lot of destiny lies in a lot of the hands, and this is the one that's going to control because one of these teams is going to lose and drop to 7-7. It's a guarantee. And the winner's going to go to 8-6 and feel a lot better about their chances. But either way, a lot of drama in store. I'm excited. I hope you are too. And up next, we have Paige's Primo team taking on Al's Dumpster Divers. Paige's Primo team 4-9 in 12th place, having a strong finish to the season though. Really racked together some wins there. A loss last week, unfortunately, but Al's Dumpster Divers is having a very strong season, tied record-wise for first place, second place based on points scored. All-time record in this series, Al's Dumpster Divers leads 2-1. So Paige playing for pride, playing for spoiler. Al trying to lock up that number one seed in the playoffs. If Trevor's locks happens to slip and notch a loss and Al wins, he takes first place based on record. So a lot on the line here for Al, but either way, either team has the potential to score, a pretty high ceiling of points. So this won't be a cakewalk for either team. Good luck. All right, it's Titanic time. It's where some of us we leave some of you. I'll put it that way. It's been a ride through these first 13 weeks. Our last regular season week is upon us. The ship's about to split in half, and some of you are not coming back. Some of you are going right into the drink, and you're going to freeze like meat popsicles, while the rest of us hopefully get in a lifeboat. Some of us are going to make it all the way back to New York, but I don't know. Honestly, it's been an amazing third season for our league. I think there's been huge, in my opinion, I'm not an elitist or anything like that, but I've been playing fantasy football for a long time. Some of you from when we first started to where we are now, night and day. It's so badass how a lot of teams have improved, learned to use trades, the waiver wire, the fab money, right? The bidding. That's not something that's done by traditionally a lot of leagues. It's more popular now, but it's something you have to learn. Some teams didn't spend any money through the whole season, which I don't know, maybe that's more of I got to show some people how it works, but either way, shout out to you if you can make it through the whole season and not spend any fab money. It's pretty cool. But hang around. I'm going to bring us through the final few weeks of the season here, all the way through the championship. Maybe the podcast won't be as long because we won't have as much to talk about, but I still want to see this thing through. So tune in, watch the games. You know, if you don't get a chance, take a little time, sit down, watch the games. It's really fun, especially when you have something on the line. And if you have something on the line this week, man, my heart goes out to you, because it's a fun place to be in, but it's not ideal. But it's the most exciting fantasy football we'll ever get. So enjoy it. I hope you have fun. I'm having fun. And for those that don't make it, my heart will go on.
Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back.
Hello! Can anyone hear me?
There's nothing here, sir.
Come back. Come back. I'll never let go. I promise.